Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Not Fade This podcast. My name is Joshua Reimer. I'm joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Block. Jared, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
I have not started out very well this week in terms of top overall plays, but I still feel like ironically, outside of some of our top plays this week, we've really nailed a lot of things, and those things are just secondary plays at the end of the day, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. But tough night last night for the team in general. A lot of things kind of just came up short. Uh, but we had a lot of good calls on the show, so I think we can take away at least some positive things. But yeah, I think we just need to lock in today. And you got seven more games on the board. We're getting a weird time where you hit this like January dry spell right before the All Star break, and things are kind of weird. But I do think that we have a lot of games to cover. I think that there are some games that are really, really strong on today's slate, and we have some injuries that do affect things and move things around. So looking to get back on track today.
Yeah, weird night of NBA, right? Like Rockets don't end up really coming through at the end of the day. Oh well, I guess I can't really say that. Like we talked about the KD spot that went well. Again, one of those secondary plays. Amin Thompson was another guy that did well. The Trey Murphy spot went really well for me. That was my ladder, and then Steph Curry decided that he didn't know how to shoot the ball anymore and just decided to pass a bunch instead. So, like you said, definitely a rough night overall last night. Looking to rebound tonight and hopefully do a little bit better. Like you said, definitely plenty of games to talk about. We got seven, just like we had yesterday. And if you're ready, I'm ready, Jared. We can get into some injury news.
Yep, let's get into the injury news. The biggest question mark on the board, I should say, there's probably two big ones, right? Kawhi Leonard still questionable, and Jamal Murray still questionable. Jamal ended up playing last night and looked really good doing it. I would say that this would be a game that Kawhi would sit in, but we already did get the news that teammate Zubac is already ruled out for this contest. So you'd think that they would have already ruled Kawhi out if he was not going to play tonight, along with Zoo in the same like stint of time. So I guess we'll see on that front. Emmanuel quickly is questionable. He's also, from what I understand, a trade candidate that came out today too. So we're starting to get to that kind of time of year. PJ Washington is questionable as well. And then this one's interesting. Sandro Mamukelashvili is out. We already know, or questionable, excuse me. We already know that Jakob is out, so that could mean a full-time role for Colin Murray-Boyles. On the probable side of things, a bunch of Sixers, Embiid, Edgecombe, George looking to play here. Gordon and Spencer Jones on the probable side for Denver as well as they start to get a little bit healthier. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Dallas is down a bunch of guys in that game, so Max Christie might add to the list of the Anthony Davis list. Dallas Mavericks. Anything else that I missed?
No, nothing else you missed. I'll just chime in on a few of these things. Mainly, I just want to chime in on the Kawhi Leonard stuff. I think he's getting like the pure LeBron treatment right now, where last year in 2023 and even in 2022, we saw LeBron get questionables every single day, and he played through every single one. And I think that's what you're going to get for Kawhi from now on. It's just like he's been questionable for these last 3 or 4 games. He continues to keep playing. He's playing at a full level too. He's playing 30 minutes in each one of these games, playing in the mid 30s when the games are actually close. Yeah, I would almost fully expect Kawhi to end up. I think this is more probable than questionable. I think they leave him as questionable just in case. And again, I thought I knew what I was talking about with the Lakers stuff, and both LeBron and Luka played last night. So I can't. I guess I can't say fully with confidence, but I feel pretty confident Kawhi ends up playing. And yeah, that's the main thing that I wanted to touch on there.
Perfect. All right. I think we can move forward. Not a huge injury slate. I do want to hint at that. Um, but yeah, I think we can. I think we can move forward. And obviously, anything that we say after this is up for grabs because anything can happen.
Yeah, certainly anything can happen. And like you said, it definitely feels of a lesser injury slate than we had last night, where last night felt like there was a lot of moving parts. We didn't know a lot of things until things got closer to lock. Tonight feels like we know a general amount of what we need to know outside of just waiting for this Kawhi, the Jamal Murray, and maybe the PJ Washington news, and the obviously Toronto news too. All right, let's move over and talk about some of these top implied team totals, Jared. Number one on the list belongs to the Chicago Bulls, who are on the second half of a back-to-back. They are 4.5-point favorites. Over-under here is at 241.5. Their implied team total is at 122.75. Facing off against the Utah Jazz, it's a pace-up spot for the Chicago team. Utah also has the worst defensive rating in the NBA. Utah's allowing a lot of points to point guards, to small forwards. They've been a little bit more stingy to the front court, so power forwards and centers aren't necessarily doing, or I guess centers mostly are not doing excellent. Power forwards are still doing fine. Give me your thoughts on Chicago. What do you like here?
Yep, you kind of hinted at a lot of what I'm driving with initially. We should also note that still no Giddey, still no Zach Collins. Kobe White's probable, but he's been playing in this 25 to 28 minute stint, so I'm not sure we should really. I think we can pencil him in for like around 25 to 28 minutes, but we shouldn't count on 30. With that said, yeah, it is a very, very high implied team total. The matchup is very good. It's very much unlike last night where like you felt really good about pretty much everybody on Houston in their top implied matchup. This one feels a little bit more like a couple guys can do really well kind of situation here. We do know that the Jazz are allowing a ton of above the break threes as well as corner threes. The main guys you want for that are Kobe White and Matas Buzelis, as well as Vooch. He can certainly get there, but that DVP, like you said, kind of takes me off of that spot a little bit. I will say that you got a couple more corner three guys like White, Isaac Okoro, Kevin Huerter, Buzelis. Again, they can all kind of get there from that angle. But this is just a really, really strong overall spot in general for Tre Jones. So I think it comes into one of the best spots on the slate as that point guard that you mentioned. Should have a lot of assist opportunities as well. Still playing in a full-time role without Giddey. So I think that the favorite spot's Tre Jones. I can also get behind Buzelis too.
Yeah, and we should mention that. Maybe we'll mention it. I guess you can't really mention his hottest shooters because it's not a consistent thing. But Tre Jones had a night last night. Truly put on a clinic against Houston. Went 11 for 12, 5 for 6 from 3-point range. Put up 34 points up on the Rockets. I don't think you're going to see a lot of point guards do that this season, regardless of their varying skill levels. But it seems like Tre Jones is starting to get more shots here and starting to become more of an important factor for this Bulls team, at least without Giddey. Dosunmu was another guy I wanted to highlight. I know he comes off the bench, but they clearly respect his game a lot. When he gets up a lot of shots in these high-paced environments, he usually tends doing pretty well. So definitely don't want to miss out on the Dosunmu train overall, too. Okay, anything else here? If not, we'll move on to the next team.
Just the big takeaway being I'm just not excited about Vooch, and we have been excited about Vooch a lot the last 10 days or so. Taking a back seat there today. We should also just note, we're going to get there. We're covering Utah in this segment, right? Or should I mention it now?
Mention it now. I don't think we will.
We know that Lauri Markkanen's not playing, so
yes,
that does change some things up. I think that makes the spot for Buzelis a bit better too.
Yeah, it makes it very interesting on the other side of what you're going to do with Keontae George, because there's some varying factors there. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, let's move on to this next team. Let's talk about the New York Knicks as they head into Sacramento. They are 11.5-point favorites. Over-under is at 229.5. Sacramento's been on a roll. They beat the Lakers last time out, and they beat the Rockets before that. So this homestand for the Kings is going really well. What do you think about the Knicks here?
Yeah, for the Knicks, I think So I was I didn't get to cover this one in the rundown, but when I looked overall at the slate, was looking at trends and initial research, and I was like, when's the last time we talked about the Knicks in a good spot, or the Knicks just in general on the podcast? Yeah. And it's been a while. Cat has certainly fallen off a little bit. Has scored under 22 points in 7 of his last 10 games. Brunson's not hitting 30 consistently anymore. It's kind of just a little bit all over the place at this point of the year for New York. With that said, you do get a good matchup here, even if this is, a slight pace down game. So I do think you like the fact that the Kings are the second worst defensive rating in the NBA. You also like that this could kind of like re-spark Brunson and Cat in terms of point scoring. Like the opportunities look to be present in terms of getting out of the rut. I should say. So I think we should expect both of them to perform in this one. And from there, it gets tough to really trust more than that, especially when guys are starting to get healthy on this team.
Yeah, really tough. And that was kind of my headline when I started looking at stuff because I did cover this game on the rundown. And first thing I thought of is, wow, this Knicks team gets really boring once they get healthy. It was a lot of fun to attack
and
stuff
when
when
they're
Josh
playing
Hart.
a lot of guys.
Yeah, exactly. It was really fun to play more Knicks when Hart was out, but now that Hart's back in there and OG's fitting back in there, it gets really tough to figure out a guy that you like, especially in a game where, like I said, they are 11.5-point favorites. I know the Kings have been able to keep games close and even win a lot of these games. I don't know if they do that against the Knicks. I guess we'll end up seeing. I know Cat has been super inconsistent. He's fallen under 21, or he's fallen under 22 points in 4 straight games. It's hard not to be excited about this matchup. We have seen centers dominate against Renaud because, as we all know, I mean, he's just not really that NBA level starting center. He's filling in for Sabonis right now. He's doing an okay job of it on the offensive end. He just doesn't have the defensive chops yet to stand up to a guy like Cat. So, really do like the Cat spot here. I like Brunson from a few different angles, but I don't want to be overexposed here. I am worried about the blowout, and I'm worried about the pace of this game, too. I think it's going to be pretty slow paced. Kings are slow paced. Knicks are slow paced, even with the bad defense on both sides. Just not sure how explosive this one gets at the end of the day.
Right. I think that the way you approach this one, because there's not really many peripherals either for DVP, and that's mainly due to a pace of play situation, like you mentioned. Slower pace of play, less peripheral chances. So rebounds and assists are kind of off the table for the most part. I think what you're doing, if you're going to play any New York guys at all, if you have the ability to alt their point lines for the main guys, right, the Brunson and the Cats, like you can do that, but I wouldn't be stoked about anything else really.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to this next team, Jared. It belongs to the Clippers, who have a 119.25 implied team total here. They're facing off against Washington at home tonight. Over-under is set at 226.5. They are 11.5-point favorites. Give me your thoughts. What do you think about the Clippers tonight? Lots of injuries here to deal with.
Yeah, obviously the big one is Zubac being out. We know this already as fact. Good luck figuring out when we get the news for Kawhi, because this game starts at 10:30 Eastern. So we'll see how that goes. With that said, I really, really like the spot for John Collins, and that's probably going to be the biggest takeaway here. I think he walks into, even if Zoo was playing, I think Collins still walked into one of the best matchups on paper in general. You basically take a look at any DVP against power forward or center spot, and it's a hammer against Washington at the moment. So we had talked, I think, last week or the week before about it being a bit harder to attack the Wizards recently. That was just amid like all the trade stuff and all these guys are kind of, I don't know. It was just like a harder spot to attack, and now I think we're starting to see it really open up in a multitude of ways. So John Collins, one of my favorite plays of the slate. I'm not even really sure if they'll just like clean swap Brook Lopez, because it's kind of dependent on the Kawhi situation. But we had seen John Collins already inserted into the 4 role, and that was taking a lot of Zubac's production anyway. So now we get this spot where we can just kind of hammer this situation. And yeah, I think John Collins is the headline, but what else are we looking at?
Yeah, honestly, I'm right there with you on the Collins stuff. Like, I think I'll probably talk about him again later. But like, I love this spot for Collins. You're looking for a guy who can shoot restricted area shots, which Collins is the top scorer from the restricted area on the team without Zubac playing. And you're looking for a guy who can shoot corner threes. Collins is the top scorer for the Clippers from the corner 3 spot as well. It just kind of fits in really well. And on top of Washington allowing the most points to power forwards over the last 7 games, there's nothing to not like about this Collins spot. Like I said, I think Kawhi does end up playing. I would be kind of shocked if he didn't. But if Kawhi doesn't end up playing, it just points to even more of a Collins spot that could be really good. So really like the Collins upside. Yeah, that's about it on this. I mean, like, I think you can get behind the Kawhi. Like, I think Kawhi can do well. I think Harden can do well. You can get behind your normal players here for the Clippers. I am just kind of hesitant because, once again, I think there is blowout factor. And I also just don't know what's happening with Kawhi. I'm assuming he's going to play, but I don't want to take a risk on that necessarily. So, yeah, Yeah, really like the Collins spot. Everything else, it's kind of exactly like the Knicks spot, where this is a big favorite. It's late at night. You have to worry about injury stuff here too, and it's a tough spot to cover.
Yeah, so I don't want to go through the entire take and not at least mention our thoughts on Brook Lopez. We could see them start him. I still think, and it's very possible if Kawhi plays that they could just use Collins as the small ball five, like we've seen him play that in the NBA in general. Washington's just not allowing a lot of above the break threes right now. If you filter over the last 30-day sample, they are definitely a bottom half team in that regard, allowing roughly 9.5 per game since the middle of December. And that's essentially all that Brook Lopez does right now in this stage of his career. So that's kind of why I'm off of it. But yeah, I think it's Collins or bust mainly.
Feel pretty confident that you'd end up seeing Brook end up starting if we don't get. Well, we know where
It
Zubac's
would
not
make
going to be in.
sense, right?
Every game that when Zubac sat in that recent 5-game injury stint that he had, Brook started every game and started the game where Zubac played off the bench. So I feel pretty confident that you'd end up having Brook play starting center. It wouldn't be significant minutes by any means, and I think probably at the end of the day you see Collins close with he's part of the closing lineup as the center, but I think you probably see Brook start.
Yep, no surprises there. No one should be shocked. It's just that we prefer Collins' play type a little bit more here.
Definitely, definitely. All right, one more team, or do you want to move on to hottest shooters?
Yeah, let's cover one more time. Sure.
Let's cover one more team. It's a tie. Like you said, the Jazz are definitely in here, but I think the more exciting team to cover here would be covering the 76ers because they're 1.5-point favorites. They have a 118.25 implied team total. Over under for this game is at 238 or 235.5, excuse me. And they're facing off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have seen the Cavs are definitely susceptible to being scored on. And there's definitely some upside for this 76ers team. So break it down for me. What do you like here?
Yeah, you like that this is a pace-up game. Cleveland's defense continues to get worse. We kind of talked about this yesterday or the day before. Can't remember which one, but you can basically call them one of the worst three-point defenses in the NBA right now. They are allowing the fourth most above the break and second most corner threes. They're also allowing a ton of mid-range stuff. So Embiid does profile well in the mid-range, and I'll give him his flowers there. And he's been on a good scoring tear here over this last chunk of games that he's been playing. But the highlight is that Tyrese Maxey probably has one of the best spots on the slate in general. I made this a fun fact earlier, and I'll use that. But he's a part of it. I'll wait to do that for the hot shooters section. But in general, Tyrese Maxey ranks third in the NBA from above the break over the last 30 days. He's making almost 4 per game at 3.7. So you love that spot in general. You also just look at DVP and you're seeing a ton of guard success against the Cavs right now. So I like all of this, and he'll be brought up in our assist spot too.
For sure. Yeah. Really like the Maxey spot. Can completely get behind that. I also think VJ Edgecombe deserves his flowers too as the shooting guard spot here. Really good matchup for him. He's an above the break 3 shooter. It's kind of hard to gauge his consistency. I know he's only had 15 plus points in 6 out of the last 10 games, but if you zoom out a little bit, it's actually 11 out of the last 15. So I think you've seen really good scoring from him, and he's only missed in some of these tough matchup spots, games against Orlando, games against OKC, some really tough games that I wouldn't expect him to be successful in. I like this VJ Edgecombe spot a lot, and I think you can go even farther. I like Philly as a whole. I think they've been playing really good ball. I think the offense looks like it's humming with everyone back, and I especially like that Maxey spot, like you mentioned. All right, do you have anything else? If not, let's go on the hottest shooters.
Just to reiterate, I think we're over the point where we're worried about Philly. I think we've seen enough of all these guys healthy and playing to kind of figure out how things are going to operate and where we can attack it. It's not like they're going to be a featured team on every single slate, given the fact that they're just a lot healthier like New York is, but it's a really, really good spot for a few select players.
For sure. All right, let's move on and go over to hottest shooters. I'm going to hope you're not going to take my guy, and I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go?
I was just going to use my fun fact of the day. So hopefully that I don't take all of them. But here we go, because I think that there are a couple guys on
I
this
think you're
slate that,
about to take him. I think you're
yeah,
one of the guys in your. I saw your fun fact, and I think one of the
yep.
guys I want to talk about is in your
Well,
fun
we
fact.
can go back and forth on it then, because
Yeah.
I would like to say that there are now four players ahead of Steph Curry in terms of averaging above the break threes per game in the last 30-day stint. For as long as we've been covering NBA, even before props, like I don't even remember the last time that Steph wasn't first for a good chunk of a time, if like injuries aside. So, with that said, Michael Porter Jr. actually is number one in the NBA, averaging exactly four above the break threes per game, taking a roughly nine. Then you have LaMelo, Tyrese Maxey, and Jamal Murray as those 1 through 4 guys. And our boy, your boy specifically, Trey Murphy, sits right below Steph as number 6. So, yeah, it's crazy. And it's not like Curry's been having bad games either. It's just like these guys
Yeah.
just shooting out of their minds right now.
Yeah, they certainly are shooting out of their minds. Maybe you didn't mention him. I don't know. I was kind of clicking back and forth between some props.cash stuff. But the guy that I wanted to mention, who I think is one of my favorite plays of the day, I love what Michael Porter has been bringing to this Brooklyn team. And we have seen the scoring be super consistent as of recent. He's had 27 plus points in 6 out of the last 7 games. He has consistently been in this upper 20s range, and his above the break 3 scoring has been fantastic. It's up there with those guys that are above Steph Curry right now, like you mentioned. He's averaging 4 above the break threes per game over the last 7 games, and that, along with Maxey, Norman Powell, and Trey Murphy, are all guys who are excelling in that category. Pelicans are really struggling against small forwards, especially when it comes to 3-pointers allowed. So this is a Pelicans team that's struggling with above the break 3 defense in general, and they're struggling with restricted area defense. That's kind of Michael Porter's sweet spot. I really do like this spot for Porter, and I think he has to be one of those hottest shooter candidates.
Yeah, he's definitely a top overall play candidate in general today specifically. Let's see. I had it and then I lost it. We already mentioned the cat stuff. He's fallen off a lot. Let's see. You have another one? Because I'm looking here and I just like I had it in my mind and then I lost it completely.
I
So
do have another one, and it comes from this same Brooklyn Nets team, but um, I really like what I've been seeing from Igor Demin, and this was a
mhm.
guy who they drafted that I think was a lot of a question mark to a lot of people, but we have seen the 3-pointer game excel recently. We have seen him hit 5+ threes in 4 out of the last 10 games. It might not sound like a well, like I mean, yeah, it's 5+ threes. That's a lot. He's plus 650 to hit 5+ threes today, and again, he gets this really good above the break 3 matchup that Michael Porter does. I like this spot for Igor Demin. He's been super consistent as of recent, and we're really starting to see some explosion games from him.
yeah, when I was doing the rundown, I marked that he actually does sit inside the top 10 from above the break per game if you filter last 30. So, yeah, he's definitely on fire. I was going to bring up the Denver guys that are actually playing. So,
Yes.
Peyton Watson, definitely one of those guys that needs to be on mentioned here. 20 plus points in 7 of the past 8 games that Joker has missed in this 8 game stretch. So, Jamal Murray's questionable, but he also obviously deserves to have his name called here. 46 plus PRA in 4 straight games, and he has 5 rebounds in 8 of the last 10 as well. Obviously, if Jamal Murray does not play, that makes things even better for all these guys.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely does. Um, Last guy I'll mention, we talked about him pretty extensively in the last segment. John Collins has been really consistent with his scoring as of recent. 5 out of the last 6 games, 6 out of the last 8 games, he's gone over 15 points, and he's had some duds. He had that really bad game against Charlotte, which seemed like a head scratcher. He had a bad game against Utah, which also seemed like a head scratcher. But Collins has done really well recently, and feels like we should give him his flowers for sure on top of what we talked about with him in the last segment.
Yep, I started to dive into the Collins stuff more the moment that Zubac, I was either a flag plant or a ladder, something. I think it was a rebounds ladder. Came like last week, and so I looked into it, and yeah, I mean, like Collins is just he's just outperforming into a point where they're forced to start him now.
Yep, for sure. All right. Anything else here, Jared? If not, we can head over to Roundtable.
Nope, we can move over.
Let's move over to Roundtable. For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I bring some of our top plays for some different statistical categories to the table to talk about here. Those statistical categories are points, rebounds, and assists. We'll start out with points here, Jared. Where do you want to go?
I think that this slate might be like one of the best center scoring slates that we've had in a while. You can name a bunch of really, really good scoring options. It's just, can you trust the centers that are in those spots to actually put up the points necessary for it? So we'll start with the Aaron Gordon spot. We've kind of mentioned this now that he's back and playing, and they're shifting him to a 5 role. I do think that continues today. We mentioned it yesterday. I want to just reiterate again that we have a new king of the restricted area, allowing rankings here, and the Dallas Mavericks currently are allowing the most restricted area field goals per game over the last 30 days. It's 21.4 off 32.4 attempts. Teams are making over 65% of their restricted area shots against them in that time frame, and that's Aaron Gordon's bread and butter. You take Jokic out of the system, and you got a lot of guys in this team that can do that, but specifically DVP-wise, Aaron Gordon does line up the best of the guys on the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my audible oh, because I was just looking at bringing up the Aaron Gordon spot myself. You went for it, which is perfectly fine. I will go to my backup play here and rely on hopefully some consistency from Trey Murphy here. I think that small forwards against this Brooklyn team are always going to have a chance to succeed, just because while we do respect Michael Porter a lot from a scoring edge, he is not a very good defender. And I think Murphy has a chance to repeat some of the magic he was able to conjure up last night. This Brooklyn team has allowed the 9th most points to small forwards over the last 7 games. They're a very good team at stopping above the break threes. They're a top 3 team in the NBA over the whole season. But against the small forward position specifically, they've allowed the 9th most 3-pointers to the small forward position over that last 7-game stretch. So here's hoping that Trey Murphy can perform on the back-to-back. Not traveling back-to-back, but still a tough back-to-back nonetheless. I think he has good upside here, especially with that Michael Porter matchup.
For sure. I could use Aaron Gordon for rebounds too, but I will not. Just know that it's a very, very good rebound spot. Ultimately, the best probably for the center group today. I would like to go. I think this is a nice spot overall for Bucelis that we kind of hinted at earlier, and so I'll just use him for this one. Utah's allowed the 3rd most rebounds to that power forward position over the last 7 games, and now you don't have Markkanen, so I do think that this is a nice, awesome, all-around PRA spot for Matas Bucelis.
Yeah, I can certainly get behind that. I am going to go with this spot for... I want to make sure a line's up, which I'm not seeing it. I guess we'll just go with it anyway. I do like the Brook Lopez rebounding spot here. I feel pretty confident that he is going to get the start. And in the games that Zubac ended up sitting, in 4 out of the 5, he ended up having 5+ rebounds, and he had 6 rebounds in 2 of them and 7 rebounds in another. These were some tough matchups too. These were matchups against Şengün, matchups against Donovan Clingan, matchups against Jalen Duren, like relatively tough matchups all the way around, and he was still able to rebound at a high rate. I like the rebounding spot for Brook. I like the rebounding spot for Collins as well, but we're going to highlight Brook Lopez here and talk about, I do like his rebounding spot overall today.
I'd assume we won't get a market for a while just because Kawhi news, but
I'm going to go check on DraftKings. I didn't see it on props.cash, but we'll go look on DK to see if maybe they have it.
I just looked for Prize Picks and typed in Brook, and all the Brooklyn players came up, so I'm not sorting through that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, let me just check, because I covered this a couple of weeks ago, I want to say, when Zubac was out for that longer stint. He had been really consistent at like the 5 rebound mark.
Yeah, no spot. You got Collins at 7, you got Kawhi at 7, James Harden at 6, Chris Dunn at 4, but nothing past that. So we'll have to wait to get an actual line for it. I think you'll probably have to wait till Kawhi ends up getting ruled in or out, but just know that like Lopez is in a good rebounding spot as long as he does end up starting today.
Yep. All right, I will use Tyrese Maxey as my assist play. The Cleveland Cavs have allowed the eighth most assists to point guards on the year over that last 7 game stretch that we always highlight. It's the second most to that position. We kind of already talked about how Philly can succeed, and it's by a lot of above the break three scoring, as well as some mid range scoring from Embiid. Love the Maxi point spot, but I think assists also can be laddered.
Yeah, can certainly get behind that. Jared, wish me luck because I'm going to bring up this Cooper Flag assist spot. Look, he has taken over as this team's point guard. He's been super consistent from the assist angle. He's had 5+ assists in 10 out of the last 11 games, Jared. He has been super consistent from this angle, and I think that they definitely have a chance to score on Denver here. Denver has been allowing, while the offense has looked pretty decent without Jokic, the defense has taken a major hit. So, like, I think that Coop, while I don't trust the scoring right now by any means, I will get behind this assist spot and say that I do like him from that category. All right, you got anything else that you want to mention here? Any plays that we might have missed out on? And if not, we can keep it moving.
Yeah, again, there's just a lot of really good center scoring opportunities, the back half of the slate particularly. So I do think that you're going to see a lot of success from that angle, though I understand sometimes it's tough to really feel comfortable about center scoring, but you can definitely trust a lot of it today.
Yeah, definitely feels like a solid spot to do exactly that. All right, let's head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One. For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I go back and forth, each of us selecting 2 player props each. We put those together all in a parlay. The goal of the parlay is to have odds between +100 and +150. We came up short last night because Steph decided to, like I said at the beginning of the show, decided not to pass. Decided to pass a bunch and not shoot the ball whatsoever. Fell short of that 20 mark that we had him for. Everything else ended up cashing. I don't know if you saw my message to you in Discord, but you nailed that Cornet 5+ rebounds take. He had 5 in, I think there was 2 minutes left in the first, and he got those 5 rebounds. So I was very impressed with that. All around, I mean, everything else did really well. It's just Steph came up short. So let's do better today. Jared, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, it's the irony of us revisiting our takes, and usually it's always a bummer when like everything goes off except like your favorite play, and that's kind of what happened yesterday. So with that said, we're going to one of the more obvious spots on the card. We've talked about it a lot. I don't need to recap any of this, but we'll go with Aaron Gordon PRA. I would assume I haven't looked at the actual over under. It's probably around 35 or something like that. So I think high 20s feels good.
It's at 30. You want to go with 25 or 20? Up to you.
We'll go with 25.
All right, let's go with 25. I am going to go to this. Yeah, I'm going to go to this Michael Porter spot. I think it has top play all over it. I think you can go to. Hold on, I'm just looking real quick. No, I would just go points. I know he's getting a lot of rebound chances right now. He's ranking in the top 50 on the season in rebound chances, but I just want to focus on his scoring here. Let's go with 20+ points.
Okay, I will go. This is such a hammer Trey Jones spot, and it also is this could be a disappointing thing to come back to where he just completely shits the bed. But we're going to go with him for PRA. With Giddey out and with Kobe not playing over 30 minutes, I just think he's the top scoring guard. He's the top just player in general on this slate, I think. If anything, Maxey is maybe a slightly above him, but we'll go with Trey Jones here for PRA.
Yeah, I can. Oh, I thought he wasn't listed here at first. Yeah, I can certainly get behind that. Do you want to go with... We got 20+ at -195 or 15+ at -800. Not much of a...
20 is almost -200.
20 is -195, yeah.
For PRA for Trey Jones?
Mm-hmm.
That's fishy. Yeah, we can certainly do that. I think he should be... I think he's got a 30 in him tonight.
I think so too. His baseline's at 22, so I mean...
That's crazy. What am I missing there?
Well, he hasn't really been like that consistent in the category. Like, if you go look at his PRA, He has 21, or he had 43 obviously last night against Houston, but then 21, 25, 19, 20, 11, 34. I guess it's kind of been back and forth with all the injuries they've had, right?
I guess. I don't know. I'm not missing
Yeah.
the spot though.
Well, let's go with 15 plus because I just realized if I put 20 plus in that it sends our odds to plus 200. So let's go with 20 plus or 15 plus PRA for him to get this between plus 100 and plus 150. If you're playing it at home, certainly play it up to 20 if you want to take a little bit more risk on. But for my play, my last play here, we'll keep it nice and easy and simple here. Let's go. I was going to go Tyrese Maxey 20 plus points, but we probably want to get assists in there too, right? Think that's the smarter way to go?
Uh-huh.
All right, let's go points plus assist, and let's go with perfect. Let's go with 25 plus points plus assist here for Tyrese Maxey. So, altogether, in case you missed anything, we have Aaron Gordon for 25 plus PRA, Michael Porter for 20 plus points, Trey Jones for 15 plus PRA, and Tyrese Maxey for 25 plus points plus assist. Altogether, gets you at plus 111. Good stuff. Not too shabby. All right, Jared, that brings us to the end of the show. Give the people your final thoughts. What do they need to know as we wrap up today's slate?
Yeah, we still have to wait for news for Kawhi. If you missed it, Zubac is out, and I do think that we're already like kind of going all in on John Collins tonight, so that's kind of where I'll sit with that, and we'll take it from there. We still don't know if Jamal Murray is going to play today, and we do know that Aaron Gordon will be playing in this one. So things hopefully like this is a second leg of a back-to-back for Denver, right? Traveling to.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. Jamal Murray's been playing through these injuries, but I guess I wouldn't be surprised to see a spot sit for him. We'll see how that goes, but I do think that from there's not too many injuries to discuss. Underdog's already moving on to posting about tomorrow's injuries because it's a much bigger slate. So we'll see if today is less of the injury day compared to the rest of the week. And Josh will leave the show by just saying that Underdog MLB, now that I've turned my alerts back on, we were talking about this yesterday.
Nice.
They decided that they were going to post about Freddie Peralta, and teams, according to John Heyman, linked to Freddie Peralta. Yankees being number 1, Mets 2, Dodgers, Giants, Braves are the top 5, and my team, the team that he was on, is not even in this conversation or in the actual video. So I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about a lot of things for my sports teams these days. Did you see that the Milwaukee home fans booed Giannis at the free throw line last night?
Yeah. Did you see him boo them back?
Yeah, he like cried in his towel. Like,
yeah,
what is happening to my team?
Dude, you're going through it. Yeah, I did you see Ranger Suarez sign today?
Yeah,
you guys get to hear us yap for a second about MLB. Or maybe this is how we'll end every podcast: is Jared and I talking about what we talk about off the air, which is just MLB news we saw throughout the day. Yeah, doesn't 5 years, 130 sound like a lot? I mean, I know how good Suarez was throughout the year last year, but like,
there's points where it's really bad too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially in some of those games where he really had to step up, I feel like he did poorly. So
yeah, I mean, for your
how
third
old
arm,
is he?
5 for 150. They are stacked and they are loaded.
They are loaded. That starting lineup is insane because now it's Crochet, Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez. Who else is back there? Who am I missing?
Bello at the back end.
Bello. They acquired another guy that they said they liked as a back end starter from Oviedo from Pirates, which is a really good move in my opinion. I think that's a really strong move. And then you have the rookies that they brought up last year. Like you have Peyton Tolley, you have some other guys back there. Like I think I'm talking as a Yankee fan, so I'm a little bit scared. But I think if you're a Red Sox fan, you're really excited about what that starting lineup looks like. And as everyone else in the AL East, especially as the Yankees, I'm scared because Blue Jays are making moves, Red Sox are making moves, Orioles have made their moves with Pete Alonso and everyone. And if Yankees come up short on Peralta and or Tucker / Bellinger / whoever, you're getting really scared as a Yankee. I'm getting really scared as a Yankee fan. So definitely some worrying stuff there. Lots of fun stuff. We're talking about MLB plans already, and I won't spoil anything, but we got some exciting stuff in store for what is definitely Jared and I's favorite sport. Definitely the sport that we've had our most success in, too. All right, anything else? I have some housekeeping notes. I'm sure maybe you'll bring them up here, but we have some exciting news about tomorrow. But anything else that we need to talk about, Jared, before we get out of here?
In terms of NBA, I don't have any additional notes, no.
Okay, sweet. Just to let y'all know, no more NFL podcasts this year. For Jared and I decided that with us not doing one last week, it didn't really make sense for us to do one this week. We'll still have the rundown and out that Jared provides and everything, but no more NFL podcasts. Instead, now that we're not using Thursday as our NFL recording day, at least for the immediate future, we'll be going live for NBA on Thursday. So I'm technically off from content on Thursdays. I put that in quotations. Jared and I very rarely ever get off days where we're away from the computer and stuff. But I'll be on the show. I'll be more of a host role, kind of leading Jared and talking Jared through the slate and getting his opinions on stuff. But yeah, we'll be live tomorrow. I know you're excited. I'm excited about it for sure.
Am I excited at the amount of games? No. But
are you excited to cover a Berlin game at 2 p.m.?
Yeah. The moment that NFL season ends and then NBA just gets smacked on Thursdays is never a fun time of the year, but it is what it is.
Maybe we'll have the Berlin game on in the background and give some slight commentary on it. All right. Anything else, Jared? If not, we will get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. All right. Thank y'all for listening. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer, and we will see y'all tomorrow.